So, Lost in Random was certainly a gem I wasn't planning on finding. I found this game in the platformer category on Steam, which, just calling it a platformer, I don't think it does it that much justice. But that's how I found it. I thought it was going to be a 2D platformer because I didn't really read up on anything beforehand before the game came out. I just bought it on the day it came out. I was very wrong. But on the other note, I think if it was a 2D platformer, I wouldn't be nearly as excited to talk about it. This game to me is actually pretty special, from its art style to its gameplay, the characters, and all the way down to the core of the story. This game has a lot to offer that many may not realize. Let's talk about it. Do you guys remember those older claymation style movies? Coraline, Paranorman, Corpse Bride? The list can go on, I'm sure there's a lot of them. Those movies, at least in my opinion, seem to have a large role on the art style in this movie. Oh shit, this game. Fuck that up. I'd purely say that if this was a movie by Tim Burton, it would probably fit in pretty well. A cartoony but slightly creepy and sometimes grotesque set of characters, ranging from human-like characters who quite honestly look like Victor Van Dort, to the monstrous characters throughout the world who take inspiration from anywhere. I could see him coming from Alice in Wonderland, because that's the first thing I think of when I think of stuff like that. I love it. It's quite unique, even among some of the most spectacular releases over the years. What's more is that even among the more unique characters, the playable character, Even is her actual name, still stands out. In such a dull-looking world, even with the most uniquely designed characters you can come up with, a little splash of color on a character like Even's red hair can really make them stand out. Could have a complaint here. Sometimes you see reused models. Not really a big deal with the monster characters, though. The humans is kind of where you notice it, though. Like, I swear to God, dude, I've seen Even's dad like 8 or 9 times throughout the whole game. But unless you're looking for it specifically, you're not going to find it. It's a beautiful style I wish we saw a long time ago in video games. The music, the best way for me to describe it would be a weird, dark, kind of circusy music is kind of what I get out of it. It would remind me of something like Alice in Wonderland, or something you'd hear in Nightmare Before Christmas, or anything like that. It's good, it fits the tone of the world, which is all it really needs to do. For the most part, you might not even notice it's there. I didn't, because it fit in so well. And to me, that's it's doing its job perfectly. I feel like I read that wrong, but it does its job right, and I really like the way it does it. If I were going to label this as any type of platformer, I guess the most I could label it as is a puzzle kind of collectathon platformer. But I never really played it like that. It's definitely a fun romp. It controls nicely. I didn't really notice any hiccups other than game freeze or lag, which is more a problem with my laptop than anything. Recording, listening to podcasts, and playing a game can really take a toll on your RAM. It's relatively linear, beyond the collectibles you can grab. That's not a bad thing, though. I've never had a problem with linear games. Interacting with NPCs and being able to give a different type of reaction, because they'll usually give you more than 1 or 2 options to talk to them with, is kind of a blast. Now we get into the battle system. It's good. I had some hiccups with it at first, especially when I first started playing. It felt like it slowed down the gameplay for me, but as I slowly got used to it, it's honestly really fun. While you're fighting enemies, you'll have crystals growing out of them. If you hit the crystals, you can pick them up, and they give Dicey the energy to roll a number for you to use your cards. I'm not doing it justice, in all honesty. I think it's one of those things you really have to try for yourself to understand. But it works, and it works really well. I'm a big fan of most of it. My least favorite part is the playing piece battles, where you roll Dicey and he moves the playing piece, and you just keep doing that until you reach the end. It's not bad. It just feels a little drawn out for me. Still think it's an overall pretty good experience. The story for me is honestly the best part, and that's kind of been a focal point of most of the games I've been reviewing the past couple weeks. But it really is the best part for me, especially in this one. A story can save a bad game if it's good enough, and can really make or break a game in terms of replayability. The start is simple enough. You are Even, and your sister gets kidnapped by a queen, so you have to go save her, and it'll start to flesh out as it goes along, right? I don't want to talk about all of it, because there are some really good parts that you should want to figure out on your own, but it's really fun. It kind of fleshes out the story. You get to learn more about the lore, more about the story as it goes along, what's happening, where your character's going, how you interact with other characters, what's going to happen. I think it works out fantastic. I'm so invested in this story that, to be completely honest with you, I could make 3 whole other videos just talking about the story, but I think it's good for you guys to kind of play it for yourself and kind of see where it takes you. Actually, I might do those 3 other videos about the story, but take my word that it's really good. Overall, I don't really have any complaints with the game, besides little minute discrepancies. For only $25, for an honest-to-God quality game, I suggest you pick it up. I highly suggest you do. This game is what I think is going to end up what I'm claiming as a forgotten diamond. This game is very good. It is super fun to play. I've loved it. Even the days that I didn't want to play it, I could still get on and play for hours at a time because I loved it that much. But I think it's going to end up becoming a diamond in the rough because while the story is great, art style is fantastic, the gameplay is great, it doesn't have that kind of oomph that kind of brings games into the spotlight, you know? A lot of indie games, this is an indie game by the way, but a lot of indie games you see, Undertale, Doki Doki, they have a lot of oomph behind them. You know, everyone loved them because they exploded because someone large played them or something happened or the guy who made them is really good. I don't think Lost in Random is going to have that same effect with itself, but I think it is going to become a grand cult classic among people who just really love the game. So you should honestly pick it up and see how you like it. Thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed playing this game and making this video. I have no idea what's coming next week. I haven't found a game that I thought was enjoyable yet, so it'll be a surprise for all of us, whatever I end up playing. But like and subscribe and do all that stuff, and I will talk to you guys next week. Deuces.